Anyways, we wanted to show Cranberry Creek. We really feel that Cranberry Creek is your best buy right now. It's going to be the heaviest 7-gallon out there. Cheryl, do we have availability on mountains?
Yes.
Okay, yes. We do. But we really like these Cranberry Creeks. They're so full. The reason we picked this variety is how full it stays to the can. And it will be that way for its entire life. Sometimes mountains can get a little thin towards their bottoms. They're not going to be like, completely see-through like you're looking at the trunk, but Cranberry Creek is just going to have that full skirting down at the bottom. We got 2,500 of these available. They're like row run, really nice. So you can't go wrong with that one. Okay, Velvet 2-gallon. We did switch to a little bit different crop. The guys were getting down to the end of some twos, and we let a couple go out that were a little hairy. So, we're working on that to help a customer out a little bit there. But we're definitely able to switch to the next crop, which you can see here. Even though there's a few sprigs, it's very dense and full. And we have 6,000 plus in this crop, so we're not going to have an issue going forward. The guys were just trying to pull the last of what was left in a group and got down a little too much. But Cheryl was able to get them a new section into the next crop. This is what we're shipping. We'll continue to ship out of this crop through the rest of the fall and through the spring. The leftovers will go through a trim cycle in the spring. So just wanted to show you there that this is what we're going to be shipping. So, all right, next, Carl Forster. So these are kind of a pretty close to a 19 centimeter. We're just going to call them 19 centimeters. But we were able to bring these in for resale. We have 3,000 of them. That's what they look like today. You can see the foliage is starting to go downhill, but more, we wanted to show you the size of it. It's got good size to the container. It's not wimpy, looking good. I know this works really well for a lot of landscapers out there for their price point for installs. So we were able to get these in. They're on inventory. We shipped a few this week. As soon as they got here, some of you were looking, so thanks for keeping an eye on that. But just so everybody knows, just start chomping through these. We have more stuff coming online in the spring bucket. We're going to be very limited, if not completely out of a 3, but we are going to have some nice 2 gallons come April that we'll be releasing. And then we have crops releasing probably about every 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. I got them stacked up back to back to back to back to back. So that keeps us in the loop with 19s and 2s and a few 3s. 3s are going to be fairly limited. They take a little longer to finish. So I don't really see the 3s fully coming online with big numbers till probably mid-June, towards the end of June. But we will have heavy 2s all the way through that period. So I think I have it set up. I have it way more than what history shows we've shipped in those time periods to make sure we have 1 gallon, 19 centimeter, and also 2s through that period. So just to give you an FYI, that's where we're going to be on Carl Forster. It continues to be very strong, way outpacing our histories for the past several years here. It keeps going up and up and up. So we're chasing it. So just know we have options there. Ilex glabra densa. So glabras, can have a little bit of trouble in the winter. So the thing is with them is usually what happens with the glabra in the winter is it dries out. It's very important to keep glabras well watered through the winter. So here at the nursery, what we do is we have winter water, and we have what we call a water rig, and it's tanks on wagons, and it's got a pump on there, and we go to the houses and we irrigate them all through the winter. because we can't keep the regular irrigation system up because it'll freeze. So pass that info along to any of your customers out there. They're looking to store some this winter, even if they're installing. If we go through a dry period, which happens, in November or even December, if they dry out in that ground, they're going to get damaged. So its biggest enemy is drying out because it tries to grow very late into the season, and it continues to respire through the winter. So it's actually using water through the winter, even though it's not putting growth on. So that's something to remember about. All glabers are that way, and even acronatas are that way too, and Manservia holly, they're that way too. So they all have that trait where they need water through the winter. But glabers are the ones to really watch. But we got some beautiful 7-gallon densas here. We wanted to show them off. The size is just incredible on these. You can see we have full all the way down to the pot. These are growing in pot and pot. So that's how we're able to get them so nice and full and big. And we'd like to get these moved. They're ready to go this fall or book them for spring. All right, Blue Maid. Green Magic, sorry. So this is a 3-gallon Green Magic. Same deal with all the water we just talked about. We have been booking out of Densa first, and then, Green Magic tends to be a little available. So we just wanted to talk about Green Magic a little bit. Green Magic is slightly a little more upright, but you're really splitting hairs on it. It's still a globe form. It has a little bit sharper point to the leaf. It's not like sharp, but it's just a longer pointy leaf. It really takes sitting the two side by side and really scrutinizing to see the difference. They both have about the same. They both have the same maturity size. They both have the same growth rate. There's just slight differences between the two. Hardiness, I don't see any difference between the two. Sometimes people get it that they prefer Densa, and some people prefer the Green Magic. So I see them as interchangeable. Obviously, if they're looking to replace something or fill in a spot where there's already one of them, you have to stay with that variety so you can get a consistent color. But overall, they're very similar. This crop looks fantastic. You can see it here, the sizing on it, how full they are. They'll be spaced for the winter, and they'll be looking great for spring shipping too. So we got 2,200 available. All right, now Blue Maid. So Blue Maid, this is really the true crop for 2021. So we're starting to get where we're starting to ship these as we need to ship them. But you can see here, we're past our 18-inch spec, nice full. See how glossy that leaf is. This is probably the most showy holly for foliage throughout the year. And then also as we get further along, we'll get more and more red berries, and there's a great contrast. The berries are in there, they're just kind of green right now, starting to turn red. So the only thing you got to watch out for is I know a lot of guys further up north prefer to stay away from this one because it can get a little bit of windburn desiccation. So you can go north with it. It's not so much a temperature thing as it is windburn. It does better from Columbus area south. They use it very heavily in that area. They prefer that over Princess. So look at that for those areas. You can be very successful with it in northern Ohio. It's just got to be in a little bit of a protected area where it's doesn't have full exposure to the wind. So, blueprints. This one here is over our spec. We really got to move these. I know some of the males have been short out there on the market. It's hard to tell what happens here and there. But you can use prints for pollination with maids and, in any of them. Prince will even can pollinate Chinas. So it's a good all-around male to use. If they're singly planting and they're not using royal family, they really should stick a couple of blueprints in there someplace. That'll just give them a lot more berries. They'll tend to berry on their own. There's always ones close enough to cause them to berry. So even without a male, you will get a little bit of berry, but it's just your berry count and your showiness will be so much better if you have a few males around. Different kind of animal is Willoway. This was a Willoway introduction. We really have a great crop coming on. This one here is a low growing. It's a hybrid Manservia type. It does very well. It's very adaptable for its soil types, which is kind of great. It stays low. If you're in an area where you get snow cover, you're never going to have to worry about winter burn in going further up north. But also its low profile helps it as well not to really get too much burn in the winter in extreme climates. So we like it because it's very compact, full. It's very low maintenance. Most of the other hollies take quite a bit of trimming to keep them looking good. This one here, you can let it go on its own. Very short internode spacings, so it always looks full. So that's really cool about this plant. And we got 2,600 of these. We were out of them a few years back, struggling to get our numbers back up, and we're back in the game. So we want to promote this hard. Juniper Old Gold, you can see here, we got a real nice crop. It's, it should be a plant that most of you are familiar with, kind of a landscape staple. I know that with the shortages out there that I'm seeing in the market on Fire Chief, people are probably, it only makes sense that they're going to lean back towards some of the old standards to help fill that in a little bit. We have some real nice 2-gallon Fire Chief, but we really don't have any 3s. If they need something big with that gold color, I'm even noticing that like Globosa aurea and things like that are very short out there. So, this might be something to start talking about and how great the quality is here. Maybe they can look at that if they need something with a lot of size to it. They're probably going to have to look at something like the old gold here. So, but great looking crop, very consistent. There's 1,100 of them available. Gray owl. This is really, when it comes down to it, it's really your best bet for a blue out there in the landscape. We pretty much choose the gray owl. It's kind of a globe form. You can see here how big and full these are. It's a great looking crop. They can even take advantage of that size and that spread and look at maybe cutting back on a few, using this plant here. They can get a lot more mileage out of this plant for filling spaces. So we have 1,800 of them. It's a standard juniper. It's been around for quite a while. Very tough, it's probably the juniper I would pick for being the best with any kind of blight issues, anything. It's very resistant to blights, bulletproof, easy to maintain. I think it's one of the best junipers out there. Sea green, that's one that's been around for a long time. We have a great crop of sea greens. This year, we are getting a little nervous on the number of them on the ground. We have 2,400 available. We do need to put a focus on getting these booked up and moved between fall and spring. You can see here the size of the crop, and we have 2,400 of them that look like this. So we really got to be talking about this plant, pushing it, getting it out the door. This will be the year with there again. I think the sales dropped off on this because of Mr. Bowling Ball. Mr. Bowling Ball is going to be extremely short on the market. I think we're set up pretty good, but you can talk to people about sea green. I think a lot of people moved from sea green to Mr. Bowling Ball, understandably so. From the maintenance side, is definitely easier with Mr. Bowling Ball. But sea green still has its place out there in the landscape. So hopefully we can talk about that and move those. Fuji Green Giant. So everybody is nervous and understand, that's understandable. It continues to be very short on the market. I haven't talked to a grower that hasn't told me that. So what we've been able to do is we have a 5-gallon that's 36 to 42. You can see there that's what we're looking at. And then a 7-gallon, which we're listing as a 54. We are officially out, Cheryl just told me, of 15 gallons. So that's where we are. We don't have any 25s. We're looking at probably mid-June on getting some more bigger Green Giants out there. But this is what we can offer right now. We'll actually be raising that 7-gallon number a little bit by about 500 here, as long as I get a few more in that I'm expecting. So yeah, we pushed real hard, and the guys worked real hard to make room and get these worked in so we could have some Green Giants to offer. So we got to start talking about this sub. We got to really start having that conversation. Don't let them walk away. Don't just say, no, we don't have a 15. We really got to talk up this 7 as an alternative. I just haven't seen availability on 60-inch plus. I mean, it's going fast. So I think we do have a few large B&B not booked. I'm not sure. I didn't look at that today, but
they're all booked.
They're all booked. Okay. Well, there you go. So that's what we got. So we're just going to have availability. I think we also have availability on a 3. Yeah. Yeah. So, but we just want to show you this. We'll probably show you next week again, because this is such a linchpin plant. We understand that. This is the best we could do to try to fill this hole that's out there. Okay, whipcord. I think this is our last one. Yeah. So we wanted to show you how great these look. Really cool plant. It's a neat plant to bring in the fall. Just has some interest kind of for, the Halloween and Thanksgiving seasons there. It's very tough, very adaptable. I really like it because of that. There's no winter issues, nothing with it that I've seen. And it's just an unusual plant, really neat plant. And we're also bringing on, I know I don't have a photo, but Frankie Boy, he's an interesting dude. We'll have some more of them coming online here in June. But it's kind of it's a yellow one, but it has that really neat corded growth on it. And it's probably a little more upright in its habit than whipcord is. So we brought that on to give something kind of unusual out there that people haven't seen. It gives a unique texture, gives them options.